Welcome to the Tuesday. We started late today because we fucked up edition of In the Doghouse. I'm Broede.
This is Alex.
And here we are today to entertain probably mostly ourselves, but hopefully a few of you too. We're going to go ahead and start with you today.
All right.
You have something for us?
I have a couple of things, but in all honesty, make sure everyone can see the disclaimer. We actually have an image now up there, so there should be no ifs, ands, buts, or I thoughts.
And time to switch off of that. There you go. So,
all right.
On to the show.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stories, that we found, since last night into this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we're going to start off with, news that is, close to home. What do you think, Broede?
Well, I've been looking at a story on Twitter this morning
that
was shown to us by our producer.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a shooting here in Louisville, believe it or not. Hazelwood neighborhood. There was apparently a fight took place, and then a man got shot to death, and another was seriously injured and taken to the hospital. No idea what happened, really. An eyewitness claims that they heard one of them yell, "Fight like a man." I don't know if that was one of the victims or someone else.
See, I wonder if these were kids, if this was gang-related, because they do initiations and stuff like that. They sometimes even kill their own members through initiation if they're not strong enough.
Yeah, well, neighbors say a fight preceded the shooting, so it could be any number of reasons if there's, no more details than that, which there really aren't. But it's just kind of, it's kind of I've been on the train for a little bit this morning, so try to cut me a little slack. Basically, what I was trying to say is that it could be something gang related or anything like that, but it's unfortunately, is it endemic? Is the word?
Yeah.
I might have to look that up later.
Well,
but it's a sign of the bigger problem,
yes,
which is that we can't solve crime, spikes in crime with prayers.
No.
I don't know what we expect when we think that throwing a holy book at it or a holy ritual at it is somehow going to make it better.
Yeah.
We actually have to educate the kids. We have to educate everyone. We have to teach them, important shit. I'm totally derailing.
When I lived in Louisville, people were getting shot almost on a daily basis. You have, different gangs on other sides of the tracks, for whatever reason, that are trying to pull in these kids, that are in school to, wear their colors and be one of them, and pretty much keep their population going. But ultimately, what is the reason for it? What do they stand for other than violence?
I have no idea. I mean, if you're talking about gangs, I mean, I guess there's some kind of sense of belonging.
Yeah,
sometimes, I mean, gangs aren't just, they're kind of like cults in a way. It's just that cults don't usually kill other people, they usually kill themselves. But besides that, there's a mentality that you get into it, and then it's hard to get out of it.
Right.
Like a bad relationship.
Well, yeah.
Abusive relationship.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I mean, but mostly it's because I think it goes even further back than that. I think it's really about just the kids are falling through the cracks.
They are.
The education system is failing them. They turn to crime. Sometimes they do it because they want to experience the life, but I think that's really, I don't think that's very often at all.
When I went to school in Louisville, there was a kid that I had a couple of classes with, and we had lunch together, and he flew his own colors in a bandana in his left back pocket. Now, the thing for him was, he had a single mom that was raising him. She was sick. I think there was like 4 or 5 of his siblings. And I think he was the oldest one, if I'm not mistaken. So he had a lot of responsibility on his shoulder, and he was given the opportunity of a lifetime, if you will, joining this gang. And it put money in his pocket so that he could feed his siblings and take care of his mom. But see, his mom turned her back on him because when she found out where the money was coming from and how he was getting it, she did not support it. She didn't kick him out or anything like that, one, him being a minor and that being, her baby, but there was a lot of time that he ended up not going to school, and I think she was trying to take care of the situation herself. I honestly don't remember if I seen a kid back in school after, all that went down, but it was in the news.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Well, that's, yeah.
It's disheartening, but if you have good family, even if you just have a mother, or even just a grandmother, or a father, or grandfather, if you actually have good parenting guidance, they're going to try their damnedest to steer you away from it. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Sometimes you have adults that just work too damn much because they got to put food on the table and pay the bills, so they don't have the time to monitor every little thing that their kids are doing. And not every kid's going to sit there and be honest with their parents, especially if they don't have much of a relationship with them. Some people join gangs just because they have a bad experience within their household, whether it be violence, drugs, alcohol abuse, whatever. And so they feel like entering a different family is going to make things better, but ultimately it's violence. That's what it all goes down to. It's blood money, drugs, violence.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like we've squeezed this onion.
Yeah, there's no more
value
left.
Where do you want to go next?
Well, we can always talk about President Trump is having issues within his own party. Republicans are going to back, this whole Obamacare thing that Trump has going on, and I really can't blame them. But you know,
oh, they're tearing apart Trumpcare. Is that what's going on?
Oh yes. It's actually. I wiggled in my seat, my tail.
Oh no! Here it comes! Here it comes!
Ears were perked up. The Democrat in me was like, you know what? Finally, it's about time that I get to relish in watching the Republicans stir.
Hold on a second. It's coming.
Oh, no.
It's gonna make that damn noise.
It's gonna shake the house.
There is a crop duster that's been running nearby, and it's like, why is there a crop duster here? This is crazy. Why today?
The problem being is
why
it's
now?
Actually a lot lower than what I'm used to seeing crop dusters. I mean, for it to shake the foundation of a home.
That thing's built out of a helicopter.
And this thing's a sturdy house.
That thing is a helicopter. It's nuts. I've never seen a helicopter use a crop duster before. It blows my mind.
When I lived in Minnesota, I had seen it, so I mean that's not a big thing for me. But I mean, here in Kentucky, I reckon it is, because I hadn't seen a helicopter here in Kentucky used as a crop duster as of yet.
Yeah, it's well. There you go.
I thought they were outside for marijuana plants in the crops, or something like that. But
no, don't take her.
Don't take
Jane. Leave Jane alone. She ain't never done you no harm.
Mary is a good girl.
You want to have?
All right, Tally.
I'll be hot without you, motherfuckers.
Well, on a different note, though, I notice a lot of people on my Facebook, and I know it's not just my people, it's a lot of people that are finding things that look like news, and they're sharing it on their profiles because they're not really doing their homework on it. They're not doing the research they need to. And even if it comes off of CNN or Fox News or any legit sources, you should always look into other sources and compare them, because if there's differences, then obviously there's holes in the story, and you want to figure out what's actually going on. And I think that's why I really enjoy doing this podcast, is because of the investigation part is so fascinating.
It's so important that there are alternative media outlets, and you can't honestly have enough voices. Before we started the podcast, I know for me it was like, it's just another one of its kind. It's just another one of these damn podcasts. But honestly, excuse me, damn.
Nice.
Woof, 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 woof. Oh, fuck.
Anyway.
I just love it when a burp derails. No, I was actually going somewhere with that.
Okay.
And the burp derailed. Do you happen to catch the number on that locomotive?
I think it was 188.
588-2300 Empire.
No, but you were comparing other podcasts and thinking that, we were just...
Right. Okay, thank you. I wasn't kidding about that derail. It happens from time to time. It's just that the podcasts, like, there's a lot of them, but honestly, you can't... I don't think you can have too many.
Right.
Because I listen to a number of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just some bits and pieces I can get from this podcast and this podcast and this podcast. Like, it's... And it's not just because necessarily a bias or anything like that.
Right.
Though there could be a little bit of a bias. And sometimes, everyone's bias comes into play. And it's no one's fault. It's just that that's how their brain processes. So they give a slightly different retelling of the same story.
Right, yes. Well, and a lot of times, people use, their own ideals and opinions on a story to, possibly explain what they feel might be going on, especially when you're talking about a story that has so many holes in it, and it's not a complete story. There is no why, when, where, how. There might be a why, but not a how, or a who, but not a what.
Well, here's the problem with a lot of stuff, and like, for instance, CNN, from what I've seen, they do a lot of fact when they can get the facts right. They do fact, but they don't like take a stance almost. Not so much they need to take a stand on one side or the other, but kind of take a stance for logic.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they'll put I don't understand how they could put a creationist and an atheist up to debate evolution versus creationism, because how are they even debatable anymore?
Well, and see,
it makes no sense to debate that.
No, and it doesn't. And I honestly thought, as human beings, we should have already been past that. And for the reason being is, I don't care what your religious views are or aren't. When it comes to comparing religions, you shouldn't. All right, that's half the reason why we're always at ends, in a bad way, with other religious groups or whatever it happens to be. I don't like involving religion into politics more than anything. I do not believe they should have anything to do with one another.
No, they really shouldn't, and the reason being is because religion tends to get its stink. Yeah. All over the politics, and you can't wash that shit out.
Well, and then politics, you have politicians that are trying to follow their faith, so they're not making the best, decisions because they're putting into consideration their church or their temple or whatever their religious backgrounds are. And so, I think if you're a politician, and like I said, I don't care what your religion is, I'm not there to fault you on that. I'm not going to sit there and tell you you're right or you're wrong. But if you're a politician, you need to be for the people. Have that open mind. I'm sorry, churches, but you should not have a hand in it.
Shouldn't be able to skirt taxes either, for that matter.
Well, no. And, some of them, they do give back to the community. Those I do agree with getting the taxes. Because, you have people that... make too much money to be on food stamps or to get, medical assistance and stuff like that rely on the churches, for the food benefits and stuff like that. And I'm all for those churches getting it. But when you have a Baptist church out in Elizabethtown that decides they no longer want to help the community and, they're getting one big-ass fat check through taxes, their building's fucking huge.
Oh.
I could fit I could probably fit about 13 of our homes in that building. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Church just got called out live on the air. It was brilliant. I loved it.
And I'm open-minded to it. I'm not going to tell anyone they're wrong or they're right, but, when you...
I will.
I know you will.
They're wrong. You thought wrong, dude.
When you're checking the facts and the sources, and you can find this information online, because any religious houses that get any type of tax deductions or anything like that, that's supposed to be open to the public. Alright, so it's not like you can't follow the dollars. And like I said, for churches and temples that are out there helping the community, you know, the clothing closets and stuff like that, I am all for them getting those tax breaks. But if you're talking about a church, especially as big as this one, that has this money flow, well, what are they doing for the community? Are they pocketing it? I'm sorry, their electric bill can't be that much, even if they kept their lights on, you know, 24/7. There's still a large chunk of money. And then you see the preacher with his really nice car and really big home. In the Bible, if I'm not mistaken, it frowns upon preachers or, you know, any type of religious leader living in that
Honestly,
way.
it hates anyone. The Bible honestly hates anyone with any amount of money or power or influence, for the most part. I mean, it wants you to get rid of it. I mean, for crying out loud, it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than it is for
the poor.
No. It's just for the. God damn it! What is the fucking verse?
Come on, you were raised in the church.
It was a camel through the needle.
Oh,
God
yes,
damn it!
I remember.
Pass through an eye of the eye of the.
A camel to
Eye
pass
of the
through
needle.
the eye of a needle. Yes.
It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle
Than a rich
than
man.
for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yes. Yes.
Jesus, I'm
Yeah,
surprised they managed to match that together.
There are so many things about the Bible that I agree with, but then actually going into
Name one.
churches, okay, being humble, all right, and humble is very important, all right. The humble are the ones that are they're thoughtful. They're, oh, this person needs this, let me, go and give it to them.
I think you misunderstand what the
No.
Bible means by humble. It's sit down and shut up and know your role. That's what humble is. No, I'm not kidding. It's you know who your superiors are and you bow down before them. And if you got time, give them a little handy.
That way because see, that's the thing about the Bible is, it says one thing in one passage, and then it turns around and then it kind of goes back on what it said and it says something different. And I think it's because it's talking to one bracket of people compared to another bracket of people, and it shouldn't be that way either.
No, I don't think that's it at all. I think it's just different people wrote the things.
Well,
I mean,
there was a lot of people that had hands in it.
Yeah.
They're still finding Dead Sea Scrolls and adding to it, and I could have swore that, in the book of Revelation it said, anyone that adds to or taketh away will be damned. I know that's not word for word. I don't have my student study Bible in front of me. I actually probably have a mountain of dust on it right now. Like I said, I'm no longer heavily into the community. I have a lot of friends and family that, are Christians, are Catholics, and I'm very open-minded. There are good people and bad people in any group. It's the bad people that make the good people look bad, and makes it hard for people like me that have been burned and scorned by the churches to really feel comfortable entering the home. I still, from time to time, go to church because of my godchildren. They're heavily into the church. I love to see them spiritually inclined, mentally and emotionally. That's good for them. And especially, I prefer small churches if I'm
I don't know.
than large ones. The large ones just seem to have way too much drama for my liking.
I want to get into the doghouse, y'all. Because I have been part of a unofficial Twitter campaign not too recently. What? Do I know what I'm saying? I've been part of it.
I don't know. Do you know what you're saying?
I've been part of. I'm getting there. Just let me. Let me crawl up the steps. I got it.
You've been kicked down so many times.
God damn it! You were really trying to derail me on purpose. I know you are.
No. So you've been part of this topic of discussion on.
Oh, child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Indoctrination is child abuse. I've become a real major advocate for that because I honestly believe that if you put a child through church at the age of 5 and you start going on and on and on about hellfire and brimstone, and you're freaking the kids out. They're not really loving God so much as they're fearing hell, and it's like that just. I don't understand how that's not cruel and unusual punishment, because honestly, I would think that should just the definition of that, it should go against the Geneva Convention, because it's basically torture. You just don't understand that it's torture at the time that you're in it, because you're brainwashed into believing this crap, and then when you finally do wake up and come out of it, and you realize all the years that you spent being horrified of something you don't even have reason to believe exists, a place that you don't believe exists. These children, they had their childhood basically stripped from them, because they're cowering mentally. They're cowering in this corner instead of actually enjoying their childhood, doing normal things that kids like to do, instead of just being browbeaten to doing what the parents want, because if they don't, they'll go to hell. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that. There's a lot of people that are going to be listening to this at one point or another. Explain the Geneva Convention, please.
Say what?
You mentioned the Geneva Convention. Am I pronouncing that right?
Geneva Convention. What about it?
Well, what is it?
It's what I'm referring to is the document. I mean, most people know what that is by now, honestly.
Forgive me, I am blonde.
Geneva Convention.
I know of this, but I don't know what it is.
I mean, they're just they're a set of rules, that that these people got together. They basically made a bunch of rules that the whole world should live by, and is international law sort of thing.
How's that going for them?
And well, it's going pretty good. It's just that the one that gets the one particular rule that gets broken a lot is usually involves war and prisoners of war. How to treat them. So, we broke the Geneva Conventions when we tortured the Abu Ghraib people.
Okay.
Because they were prisoners of war. And it's the point of the Geneva Conventions is that we just we respect each other despite the fact we're all different countries and we're all in different nations with our own laws and ideas. No matter what, we don't cross a certain line.
Oh, well, then good. Then I'm like-minded with that, because, I personally believe that a lot of the differences that other groups have is, completely religious. And I think if the religious standpoint was completely taken away and we actually were forced to live together, and I'm not saying peace and harmony and all that juice. We'd only help so far. I get that. I do. But to some extent, we need to accept that others are different and still be okay with it. Now, I know if I can do that, and I was a very angry individual, especially as a teenager, and I still have problems with anger now. If I can do that, I know others can. But they gotta have an open mind.
Anyway, now that my brain is slightly less foggy, it's actually a series of treaties that are signed between a number of nations. And essentially, their leaders designed the rules for treating each other's prisoners of war and soldiers and stuff like that. But
so like Korea then doing all that stuff to the Americans that they have in custody right now, they're going against the Geneva Convention.
Not just because they're in custody, they have to actually do something to them.
I was reading something about 2 days ago, actually, when I was trying to find something for yesterday's podcast, was that they have American citizens in custody and are being more torturous to them than what they had been in the past. So wouldn't that be against the Geneva Convention, or is it only for people that signed it? And if so, who signed it?
No, well, the problem with the Geneva Convention is that it really needs a military. You need a military to be able to enforce any law, whether it's locally or globally.
So then, instead of a
So-
one world government, we need Geneva running the show, where they have their own peace patrol.
Oh man, you are really delving into an area I actually don't know too much about, and
Well, then I tell you
I
what.
feel
We'll stop it at this podcast. We'll do brainstorming. We'll do research for another podcast. So something for the viewers to look forward to.
Okay.
Right on.
That sounds like a plan. I really do want to know more about it, mostly because, and if anyone listening says, "Oh my God, that high motherfucker," what? Why? How do you not know about? If you want to give us a hand in learning more about it, point us in any direction. That would be more than welcome.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, I've been in politics. Well, not in politics itself, but interested in politics for several years now, and I mean, even at the level that I am now, I realize I don't know jack shit.
Right.
The more you learn, the more you realize you don't actually know.
Yeah, and that's why I love to ask questions. And sometimes I understand when I'm asking questions, not everyone is going to have the answer to it. And I am all for, touching base back on the subject once we actually have the answers. Because I know I'm not the only one asking questions, just not everyone's got a voice like I do at this opportune moment, because we're doing a podcast. You have some subjects you wanted to touch base on?
Subjects I wanted to touch base on. If you mean the articles that I was looking at earlier today,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
There's a number of them on this. I found one website. I don't know how good it is. It's called Gizmodo.com.
Mm-hmm.
And their main page, as far as I could tell, it has a number of blurbs on different stories.
Right.
Some of them are kind of like this LED wall clock is like affordable, customizable neon.
Okay. Why do we care about that, man? Does it have emotions?
Because it's not actually. Well, if you take a look at it, it actually is like a neon sign. You could put it, the storefronts or bars and stuff like that, they got the neon lights. Well, this is a clock.
Oh, so it's actually like a 3D image, actually, because of the way that it is.
Essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess that's all right. That's pretty cool.
It's not that big a deal, though.
Into technology. I have more issues with technology than I can actually say that I like it. I know how to do the basic functions on my phone, basic functions on my computer.
Fuck phones, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god, everybody's got their phone in their face. Constantly in their... guys, have you ever sat down in a group of women? I don't care. I don't care if you're at a bar or at home with a bunch of your female relatives or whatever. Your ass is sitting there with the only one without the phone stuck in your face. Tell me that's not true. Tell me, I dare you. Or maybe you are one of those guys that has the phone stuck in your face.
I was about to say,
fuck you too.
I've seen guys literally texting on their phone just as much as I've seen women while driving down the fucking interstate. Are you kidding me? There's a time and a place for everything. If it's important, veer to the side, stop your vehicle, and then do what you need to do. You know what I mean? You're putting yourself at risk. Anyone else that's in your vehicle at risk. All right, and then you're putting other drivers and their family or friends at risk. That's ridiculous. I mean, and I see it a lot here in Kentucky, so I know that it's happening all over. It's not just here. But it does take away from family. And that's one of the things that, I talk to my girls about.
Oh, man, I really got her started this time, didn't I?
Into technology, and, I may not understand it, so I try to be open-minded because, my wife, she is more open-hearted, open-minded, and such than I am. I'm more closed off and radical in my ideals. So, I use her to temper me, if you will, so that it keeps me more evened out. I listen to her opinion and views. It really helps me with how I approach, our children. But they always have a tablet or a phone or a computer, and it's like they don't know how to live without it. And so, you know, once I'm no longer pregnant, of course, you know, I already have certain thoughts and ideas, like walking the trails and, you know, going to different, you know, historical monuments that, you know, we have, like the Lincoln Memorial homes and stuff like that, you know, where Abraham lived his childhood. You know, just certain things that are not going to be technology related other than maybe taking some pictures. And it's, my biggest thing is, I have a survivalist mind. I want to be out there in the woods. I want to be fishing. I want to be camping. You know, I don't like being cooped up. I get cabin fever all too easily. I know I'm not the only one, and I know that my kids are not going to be exactly like me, but at least, you know, they do understand to an extent where I'm coming from. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have, you know, all that stuff. I had a limit on what I could do on the computer and how much time I had. You know, I even had time limits on talking to my girlfriends on the phone. I mean, but that was it. And then I go to the library before I went to work, you know, and dabbled on MySpace. God, that...
What a dead thing. You necroed that. Why would you necro MySpace?
I have nothing against MySpace. It's just, I just realized I was 16 years old when I had a MySpace account. And that feels like a year ago.
I did actually have a MySpace for a very short period of time. Excuse me, shit.
Give the dog.
Woof woof. Fuck, what was I talking about? MySpace. True. The MySpace account I had when I had it, it seemed like it was nothing but like 12-year-old, 13-year-old girls. And I'm like, why am I here?
Well, there was
why do I have
a lot of
this?
Band groups and stuff like that. Like when I was in MySpace, you know, I had, you know, people from school, because it wasn't, I think it was more geared towards teens now that I think about it. You know, I mean, the adults had ones too, but the ones that I seen mainly were the people I went to school with. And then the band groups, and some of the band groups, you know, were local. You didn't hear a whole lot about unless you actually, you know, had a MySpace account, because that was their advertising space. But you could do so much more with your profile than what you can on Facebook. Like when people got on my profile on MySpace, the song of my choice would light up and start, you know, playing. I was able to learn how to do codes and stuff like that so that I could do my own individual background. They had a place for that. Why isn't Facebook? Facebook is so huge. You know, I would love to be able to deck out my Facebook account. You know what I mean? To where when people got on it, it'd be like, have little snowflakes in the background.
Okay. I think I need to rein you in before we go any further.
Yes.
There's more of the stuff on that Gizmodo.com page. In fact, scientists warn climate change could bring the Dust Bowl back out of the history books.
What is the Dust Bowl?
I don't remember it from... I don't know what the hell... I mean, a Dust Bowl is... Yeah, you would need a mask. I mean, did you ever see Idiocracy?
No, I need to.
Damn it.
I need to. There's a couple of references to certain movies you've made.
Well,
I haven't actually sat down and watched anything.
Essentially, the Dust Bowls is when it gets too dry. Well, it's not just that, but there are actual storms of dust.
Okay.
That blow through and cover the place. And well, yeah, sandstorm, I guess. Not really sure why it's called a dust bowl, but yeah, either way, it's saying that this could happen because of climate change. So it says, if there's anything that just about sums up the desperation of the Great Depression in one filthy package, it's photos of the Dust Bowl, when over-farming resulted in roving dust storms choking large swaths of the Great Plains region. Well, there you go. Damn. Learn how to read. Need to start learning how to read. Now, scientists are projecting that climate change could bring those hard Scrabble days to a dystopian landscape near you. So, yeah, they're saying that it's gonna... The climate is changing in such a way that we will not only have deforestation, but mega droughts,
great. Another reason for
massive dust storms.
Stay at home and be on their computers. Oh, my allergies. Take a pill. Take a pill, you get outside, you play now.
Yeah, I wouldn't go outside in these storms without some heavy protection.
Well, I mean, if
for your
we're
whole
talking
body.
about bad storms, then that's actually something serious to discuss. But I thought you were talking in a political form. That's why I was like, what do you mean Dust Bowl? And then as you started explaining, I'm like, okay, so we're going to need a mask for that.
Oh, we'll probably need more than masks.
Well,
you don't want this stuff to get in your eyes or any of your clothes if you can help it.
Well, now my question is, is that something that you feel is going to hit close to home? Do you think that Kentucky is going to be experiencing anything like that?
I don't honestly know. It says that it's going to happen in the southern Great Plains from spring to fall in the late half of the 21st century, largely due to reduced precipitation, enhanced land surface bareness, and increased surface wind speed. So, it's something for much later. I mean, we won't even be alive, more than likely. It's way toward the end of the century.
So slow-moving thing that possibly our grandchildren, great-grandchildren would be experiencing.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they've been warning about since the 60s and 50s. Maybe even sooner than that. They've been trying to warn people, this isn't going to happen overnight.
Right. Well, I mean,
and the problem is that we got idiots that don't realize we've been actually doing this since the 60s. They think this is brand new. Every time, I swear to God, they think it just started last year or something. Because...
But it's a part of the Farmer's Almanac. I mean, you can sit there and look at the Farmer's Almanac, or even go online on Farmer's Almanac, and you can sit there and look into the past and see what has happened, what the predictions are. I mean, I personally enjoy reading the Farmer's Almanac when it comes to certain predictions, because 9 times out of 10, they're correct.
Well, the problem is that you have these idiots, they hear global warming, and they see a snowflake fall from the sky, and go, ha-ha, and they somehow think that defeats climate change. But climate change is not about the weather of one location on one given day. Climate is about the overall... the overall temperatures and activities within a region, or even the whole world. It's a large area,
right?
And yeah, it can change weather patterns, but that doesn't mean that it's going to, just because the planet's a couple degrees higher doesn't mean that there's never going to be snow again.
There's always been a fluctuation with extreme to mild temperatures, throughout the years. I mean, even in the 1800s, we were monitoring what, the weather and such was, so that you had something to base off of in the future.
Didn't have real good science back then, though.
No, they didn't, but they were better at documenting things than they were in the 1700s, because you don't find as much in the 1700s as far as, other than the star reading. Star reading, I tell you what, though, they monitored that for a long time. You can sit there and look at the star mapping today and actually look in the past and back in that time and actually see changes and such. I think it's interesting.
Well, there are a lot of people that have stargazed throughout the history of our species.
Absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, eventually a number of them are going to be like, let's map this.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
and
that's how we could tell north from south, and where we were going, so we didn't get lost on ships.
Yeah. So let's see. I think that's about all there is to it for that. I mean, the point of it is that, I guess what we're trying to say is, when the climate has completely changed, it's already too late then.
Right.
This is not something you can just wait out.
Yeah.
If we don't take some kind of action to reverse the trend, which is what we've put into motion, is a trend and change.
Right. Bite your tongue.
Yes! What is with that?
It's a dog thing.
Woof woof. Scrolling up, Theresa May's government announces... What was that?
No, I was just going to say, I get it. I understand if we don't do something for our future generations to come, then, they're going to be screwed.
Yeah, do this for your kids and your grandkids, man, because this isn't about us. This is about our offspring, because they're going to have a terrible world to live in.
Oh, yeah.
So, Theresa May's government announces plan to thwart all porn viewing minors by April 2018. So somehow they're going to, in the UK, prevent any minor from viewing any porn ever.
I want to see how that's possible because, like, I know America's different as far as getting online. I haven't been out of country to actually try and look at porn, if you will, in any other country. But I know here in our websiting area, you sit there, you go onto a unpaid website such as RedTube or any of that, and it just has a little disclaimer: are you 18 years or older? All you have to do is click the button. So
yeah, but the thing is, well, for one thing, they can use credit card checks. Yeah. And that's what's suggested by her plans. She wants to require that all porn sites, and that includes the free ones.
Right.
She wants all of the porn sites to require a credit card ID check.
Okay.
So that they can verify that they're 18 plus.
I'm against the credit card ID check. Why can't you just use your driver's license? Your driver's license number, you know, should, or even your social security. If you, no, I'd go more for the driver's license, not social security. But I mean, you sit there and you give someone your banking account number or whatever, you know, someone's gonna get access to that. Someone's liable to, you know, have credit card fraud, you know, right there in their hands, which I guess that would detour a lot of people off the porn
Well,
sites.
then you would never use the internet for shopping at all.
I know.
No, any shopping.
Right, right.
So I mean,
well,
the security for online transactions are really good.
Right, right.
So,
but especially the free porn sites, you really think that they're that good at keeping, you know, information in a safe area? I don't know. I think they'd be easy to hack.
Yeah, well, now we're talking about like the seedier ones, whereas, okay, yeah, people are going to say, well, it's porn, it's all seedy. Fuck you. But besides that, there are some more upscale sites that are probably not going to fuck around with that because they've got $1 to worry about.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And a reputation, a tarnished reputation in the online porn circuit.
Yeah.
You'd never get another FAP to your videos. So I'd want to be really careful.
I think we need to go on ahead and reel into a break. I need to get out of this doghouse and stretch my legs in the grass.
Alright, sounds good to me. When we come back, we'll talk about more bullshit and bullshit and bullshit. So let's get that break time backdrop up there. The cute little doggy. Cute little doggy puppy.
I am a kitty.
Puppy. Alright, we'll be right back. And we are back
Welcome back.
to the Doghouse. So I'm gonna throw something at you here real quick because I was looking at this on the break, and there's a trend right now.
A trend.
It's the disaster artist. Now I know you've not seen the Room.
No.
And I have not seen it either, but I know so much about this movie without having ever seen it that I really want to see the disaster artist now. Basically, we're going to have to watch The Room sometime. It is panned widely as the worst movie ever made, but it's so awful that it's awesome.
So when did it come out?
2003
Okay.
is, I believe, when The Room originally came out. And it's Tommy Wiseau, which is this guy. He's an independent guy. He wrote, directed, acted in it, was producer, etc. So this guy was his baby project, basically. But it is so awful and so reviled, and yet so loved at the same time. But so now there's a movie coming out that's teaming up Franco and Rogen again.
Okay.
James Franco, Seth Rogen, called The Disaster Artist, where James Franco basically plays Tommy Wiseau from that. You can actually go look that up. Unfortunately, I can't show you video yet. Hopefully, you know, we're making the little improvements as we can. But yeah, if you can go look that up, The Disaster Artist. A teaser trailer just came out, and it's even just that little bit is absolutely hilarious. So,
well, we got to watch The Room before we can, you know, really delve into that. But yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, my biggest thing is, you know, and I hope that I'm not the only one out there. When it comes to watching movies, unless it's something that really pulls me in, or it's a documentary film based on a subject that I'm actually into, I always get so antsy, and then I start getting up and moving around. So hopefully, you know, us watching The Room will allow me to actually sit down because it's being discussed in the podcast, you know, so that I can actually reference it later on in the podcast scenes to be able to actually discuss it. So it might actually be that little push that I need to actually sit through a movie.
Right. Well, this is, I don't know, man. I think, I want to watch it when I'm both sober and high.
So then we watch it first when you're sober, and then we watch it again after you smoke.
Yeah, I guess that would be the easier way to go. Though the more interesting way might be to do it while high and then sober. So when you're watching it the second time, you're like, "What the fuck was this? Whoa, what? I think this is so funny." Of course, you might still see the funny in it after that first watch, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll watch it sober and then we'll watch it high. We'll have to do that sometime soon so we can actually do something about, oh man, a special The Room episode.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, especially if, you know, it's actually worth the watch, then we can let the viewers know, hey, you know, check this out if you haven't already.
That's a pretty cool idea. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I do too.
A whole The Room episode. Just us panning this thing.
Now, is this a horror movie?
No, I don't think so. I don't really understand what the movie is. I think it's a romance. There's a romance involved. Because I can't forget that line. I can never forget that line for the rest of my life. You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
Oh my goodness.
It's just the way he says it.
Yeah, yeah, you've made that reference quite a bit.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we'll take another real quick break. Phone call we can't avoid,
Sorry
so
about that.
That's fine. We'll be right back. I'm going to give this a test. Okay, there's mine. All right. I apologize for that. I'm going to be running this until my co-host returns. So I don't really know what to talk about at the moment, but I guess something about Amazon delivery driver drops off a bag of poop on a family's driveway. Isn't that just delicious? We got a few comments. Nothing. You know what? That was just a complete shit burger. So shit, man. Let's see. There is something about Amazon can crush a company just by filing for a trademark. Amazon is an unstoppable beast, consuming all industries that are ripe for disruption and unfortunate enough to cross its path. On Monday, its latest victim was a struggling food delivery service, Blue Apron. Following Amazon's bombshell announcement of an agreement to acquire the Whole Foods grocery chain for $13.7 billion, stock prices for competitors in the industry have been seesawing for weeks. Kroger, Target, Walmart, and Costco have all recently felt the Amazon effect, but no one has been as hard hit as Blue Apron. The weekly meal kit delivery service went public in June, just days after Amazon's surprise acquisition announcement. IPOs take a long time to come together, and there's no way Blue Apron could have anticipated the move. It initially forecast its IPO range as $15 to $17 a share. In the wake of Amazon's announcement, that valuation had to be dropped to $10 a share. It opened and closed its first day of trading with a flat price. But Monday was a day of reckoning for... Monday was a day of reckoning. The Street first reported that Amazon Technologies Incorporated had filed for a meal kit trademark that covers prepared food kits composed of meat, poultry, fish, seafood, fruit, and or vegetables, ready for cooking and assembly as a meal. Knowing which stock to target, traders sent the Blue Apron price tumbling. By 11:19 a.m., it was down 9.4%. The ominous figure was $6.66 per share. After hours trading showed the stock hovering in the same range. Blue Apron was already trying to break into a tough business, and in its initial prospectus, it said that it had just enough cash and borrowing capacity for at least 1 year. Taking a 35% hit to its stock price isn't going to make anything easier. Amazon's price ticked up 1% to $1,008.11 per share. The online retail giant is a killer when it comes to aging industries, like selling books, but it still faces stiff competition from its contemporaries. As recently as December, analysts were signaling that Netflix should be terrified of Amazon Prime. That could still be the case, but Netflix posted huge numbers today. After blowing away new subscriber estimates, the streaming service saw its shares rise by 10% in after-hours trading. Bezos may have the supply chain and the willingness to reinvest profits, but he doesn't have orange is the new black. Wow, that was a lot to just droll out like that. This is also from Gizmodo.com. It's a website I just found today. They've got a lot of varied stories on their main page. It looks like there's one over here in wake of Greenfell Tower. Government warns removing dangerous cladding is just making things worse. Julius the Giraffe has died after 1 month on this godforsaken planet. Wow, I like the title of that. On this godforsaken planet. 1 month, yeah, you know, yeah, life is funny like that. And let's see, on Sunday, animal lovers around the globe expressed their condolences for Julius the baby giraffe that was born at the Maryland Zoo. I don't understand why. Okay, I'm just going to go out and say it. I don't understand what the big deal is about a fucking giraffe that just died. I don't get it. It's a giraffe. So they named it. So it's something special. Was it shot by a poacher? No, it looks like... I don't know what it is. He needed around-the-clock care from the beginning. It says, on Saturday, the zoo announced that its condition had taken a sharp turn downward overnight, and the most humane solution was to euthanize him. So, no, it's not. I mean, he just died of natural causes. Yeah, it sucks. Human beings, though. How many human beings fucking die within the first month because their immunity systems are too deficient? Or they're born with some other condition that's going to end up taking their life too young? Fuck this fucking giraffe. Fuck this zoo. Fuck the people that wrote this goddamn fucking article, too, while they're at it. I mean, yeah, you know what? So they're headed to extinction, but it's just one goddamn giraffe. They fucking named the thing, so now it's some kind of big social outcry. It's not like you shot like that, like the gorilla was. He just died of fucking natural causes.
I'm back. What's going on?
I don't think I have your mic on yet. There you go.
What's going on?
I'm just reading a story about Julius the giraffe. Died 1 month after being on this godforsaken planet for 1 month. I do love the wording on that.
Aww.
But I don't understand it's a fucking giraffe. I don't care that they're endangered. You know, how many species have we gone through in the last 4 billion years? Well, no, life hasn't been here that long. No, is it 4.5 billion years? And then the planet itself has been around for 13 billion? Whatever the case is. No, that's the universe and the planet.
Yeah. No.
I know what I'm trying to say. Millions of years ago, life started, and 99%, 0.99999% of all species that has ever lived is probably extinct.
Well, I mean, yeah, we've gone through a lot of extinctions. We've also gone through where, you know, species have magically reappeared, too. You know, especially in the ocean. But, I mean, it's sad that the giraffe died. Only a month old?
It's only a month old. It's a giraffe. It died of natural causes.
Huh.
It just, I guess it just died.
Poor baby.
The zoo said that he was never able to learn how to nurse properly.
Well,
I just happened to see that part of the article.
That is a common way of death in any type of newborns that are unable to feed correctly.
Well, shit just happens. There's some kind of huge... Well, there's a huge online gathering saying, oh, poor baby. What about the human children that don't make it a month? Do anyone give a shit about them? Most of them don't even have names. Whereas this fucking giraffe does. How many giraffes die a day? Fuck. Well, I tell you what, man, you can't leave me alone on this thing, because I will cuss and cuss and cuss on this thing.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's saddening to hear that the giraffe died, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't care, I'm moving on from it. So, no, I was just trying to fill the time while you were dealing with your phone call.
Well, you're good.
And I didn't want to leave a whole lot of dead air after we had just taken that break, so
yeah,
I'm probably worse than dead air, though.
Well, you know, on a good
because
note,
I didn't know what to say.
You're fine. On a good note, I don't work today, so I can relax this belly bump of mine. That, man. Oh, I probably shouldn't talk too much about myself as far as my own stuff going on, but I'm dilated a centimeter. You know, this is good. Baby's in place. She's where she needs to be. I started going through the cleaning stages this morning, and I'm still looking around the doghouse like, wow, I have so much to do. I wonder how many other pregnant women actually go through what is called the nesting period.
I don't know, you're the first I've heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I never heard of...
Your wife never went through like a cleaning spell or anything?
Are you kidding?
Like that?
Yeah, it's called when she was born. Until she dies. She cleans, and cleans. It don't matter how clean it is. It's not going to get that any more clean, honey. Cleans.
See, this is why you're in the doghouse. You keep tracking in too much mud.
There you go. Woof, woof. Actually, I'm probably going to get in trouble for the things I said about that giraffe.
Oh, I'm sure, and I wasn't here to, you know, be on opposite ends or to even be out with you. I'm sorry for the viewers, you know, of having to take that call. But I am back. You did say you had a couple other subjects, though. You know, what else is going on that you wanted to talk about?
I don't. I think that was pretty much it.
I missed it.
The thing the only thing I actually covered was the what was it? It was the Amazon thing.
Amazon.
Yeah, it's an opinion piece.
Okay.
This guy basically thinks that at this point Amazon can crush a company just by filing for a trademark, and essentially the story comes down to Amazon just announced that they're buying the Whole Foods grocery chain for $13.7 billion.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
And they're causing a lot of complications for the big competitors, you know, for Kroger, Target, Walmart, and Costco.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love Amazon though.
But
I've never had any issues.
The company that's being hit the hardest though is one called Blue Apron. And I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah, I see their logo on their foods and stuff like that when I go into Walmart and Kroger, you know, that sells their stuff.
Yeah, I've actually thought, because I've seen Blue Apron advertised by a number of YouTubers.
Okay.
So it's like, I've thought about trying it. But unfortunately, they're getting essentially crushed right now. Because Blue Apron was, before this happened, it was getting $15 to $17 a share. But in the wake of the announcement, that valuation dropped to $10 a share.
Oh my goodness. That's a big drop.
Yeah. It opened and closed its first day. No, this was its IPO. The IPO was 15 to 17. And that was just a forecast. So they were thinking it would be 15 to 17 a share, but then as soon as Amazon made the announcement, their valuation dropped to shit. And so it opened and closed on its first day of trading with a flat price, never once moved.
Huh.
But yeah, so their stocks are actually now all the way down to $6.66 per share. So they're really hurting. It was a great idea. I think a lot of people really do like it and enjoy it. I've heard nothing but good things about Blue Apron.
Don't they have ice cream too?
No, you're thinking of something else.
No, I do not believe so. They mostly prepare meals. Blue Apron is supposed to be known for, I want to say that they actually, some of the advertisements I've heard said something about they actually teach you how to make food. Or something like that. Or they send you the stuff so you can make the food.
Yes, that's it.
And basically they do it in such a way that any idiot could do it and do it right.
Right.
Delicious, foolproof cooking.
Yep.
Ooh.
So,
Well, I mean,
like I said, it's a shame. It's probably not going to last much longer. At least not in its current state if they don't do something about it.
See, I thought it was something similar to like Meals on Wheels, where, you know, people that are disabled that can't really leave their homes, you go through Meals on Wheels, and usually it's done through your insurance, and like once a week they send you foods and stuff like that in frozen containers and stuff like that, where you can actually have your food and stuff at home, which is actually really cool. But no, that's not what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So I can get rid of the disaster artist thing.
Did you know that McCain is now recovering through brain surgery?
Is he actually recovering right now? Because
Yes, he
last I
is.
heard,
Yeah,
it was going to take longer than they thought.
Well, the recovery is going to take longer than they thought. But you know, whenever you're talking about brain surgery, you know, regardless of who you are, you're looking at a lengthy period of time where you have to be on bed rest. You know, you have to, you know, be taken care of and such like that. So I mean, who's to say how long it's actually going to last? But the fact is that, you know, the Republican health care bill is going to have to be put on hold until
I know
he's
what it is,
recovered,
though.
from what I understand.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had the producer in my ear for a second. Some technical stuff. Essentially, what's going on is that we can't deal. There's an echo that we can't get rid of because the quality of the mic that we started with is really good, but the quality of the mic we just got apparently is crap because you are being picked up by both mics. But yet, the good mic that you're holding is not picking me up, that's what it's supposed to do.
Well, you know,
It's not supposed to get me.
Need to build on
This is
another
garbage.
house to the doghouse, then, or build on another room to the doghouse, sit there and be in separate rooms. But that would make it harder for us to actually.
No, just got to get a better mic.
Just got to get a better mic.
That's it.
All right.
This was, it was, I think that she had, I must not have given her the right info or something. Or she just grabbed the first one she saw. I don't know what the deal is. But we'll get something better for the future. We're just gonna try to get rid of the echoing as much as we can until that point.
Right.
But yeah, unless you had anything else, I think that should just about do it.
Yeah, no, the last thing that I had was, about John McCain. He is recovering after surgery of a blood clot. Everything right now, as far as the bill is concerned, is being put on hold until he can get back into the swing of things. And they're not giving us an actual timeline as far as it's going to take for him to recover. I don't hate the man. I hope that, he recovers properly and whatnot. But it's just another show that, the Republican Party is really hurting right now. And in a way, I enjoy seeing it as far as watching the Republican Party scurry around like a bunch of wasps fighting for territory. But at the same time, it is sad whenever anyone goes through any type of brain surgery, regardless of the reasons. So I hope that he recovers well enough to be able to get back into work and do what he needs to do.
Sorry about that. Well, McConnell is postponing the actual vote on the bill until McCain gets better. But the thing is he's counting on that yes vote from him. But I don't think that yes vote from him is going to. If he really has to wait for one vote, I mean, he's lost.
Yeah.
He knows he's lost. He's just grasping at straws to get as much postponement as possible. In hopes of trying to flip more people.
Right, right.
So that there's no way he thinks he's got it lock, stock, and barrel.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's grasping at straws, like you said. And the Republican Party is not able to come together right now. There's a lot of Republicans that are on opposite ends of this and some other bills that are going on. And, I mean, everyone has their own opinion. And it doesn't matter if you're Democratic Party, Independent, or Republican, or so on and so forth. You're going to be at odd ends with other people within your own group anyway. I mean, we witnessed it with Obama. When he was in office, there were Democrats that fought him just as well. Did we ever touch base with...
Yeah, and the funny thing is, what if what if after all that he votes no on it?
Oh,
and then they would have done all that for nothing?
Oh, I'd laugh. I'd laugh because, you're talking about brain surgery, even if it is from a blood clot, sometimes that's a life-changing experience. Who's to say that he doesn't start second-guessing things while he's in rest mode and then comes back and is like, no, I've done some soul-searching and this is what this is. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I mean, come on, we're talking about McCain here. But, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Now, did we touch base with the story that happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where an
Australian woman
was shot to death?
I don't believe we covered that today.
It's actually a really sad story. She's considered a spiritual leader to a large community of followers. She's got a couple of businesses spread throughout, and it's based on meditation and stuff like that. She's the loving, independent woman. She's got family. She's got, people that she takes care of that, rely on her. And we're trying to figure out, because the police officer, Muhammad, had shot her. Now, the problem with this story is there's a lot of holes because the police department is still trying to investigate the situation, figure out what happened. So no one is commenting Other than Muhammad had claimed that, you know, he is in remorse of her death and his prayers and whatnots are going out to this family. Now, the only problem I have with this is it's not saying why he shot her, what the situation was. So we don't know if she was sitting down, if she was eating, if she was part of a pep rally. You know, I mean, anything speculation-wise is ever endless until somebody states what happened, and the department is not going to say anything right now. But it is a sad story. A lot of people, you know, are also mad about it, and her family stepped up and said, you know, this is not the way that she would want this handled, you know, because of a lot of people getting pissed off, which I can't blame them for being pissed off, especially if she, you know, was that spiritual, you know, follower or leader, and, you know, she's sitting there and she's doing for the community, and she hasn't done anything wrong, then, I mean, that's just another reason to riot against the police, and the police already have such a small leg to stand on, in my book, because it doesn't matter what police department you're a part of. You know, they're trying this program with the youth here in Kentucky where they're becoming better known within, you know, the younger community so that they're not feared when they become adults. But then you come across stuff like this constantly. Like yesterday we were talking about that cop that had his cam conveniently turned off and then ended up shooting this girl's boyfriend in the car with her 4-year-old in it. You know, I mean, how...
No. The cam wasn't turned off for that.
His thing wasn't working though, or camera that he's supposed to have on his person.
Oh no, we got it was dash cam footage. That's right.
Okay.
They got dash cam footage from the car, not from him.
Right. His was conveniently turned off, but regardless of the situation, you know, they're supposed to be doing what they can so the community feels comfortable, you know, dealing with the police and feeling like they can actually reach out to the police and have something done. And I mean, how can we feel safe around police when they're shooting people that don't deserve to be shot? It's like they're becoming trigger happy.
Well, I've gone over this a million times myself, and probably will over the course of the show. The police are way too militarized. I mean, they've been given all these toys and all this training for all this hardware that they frankly don't need in order to perform their jobs. But I'm sorry, when you're a kid, you know, you feel like a kid, you got a new toy. What do you want to do with that new toy? You want to go out and play with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these cops, they feel like they've got these toys. These, you know, if you've ever really seen the kind of shit they pull out, the vehicles and the equipment they pull out, it's frightening. I mean, it's frightening to see that this is the kind of stuff that's used against civilians, like at DAPL, the DAPL protest. You know how they just started basically lobbing grenades at the protesters.
See, now, and I believe all that's uncalled for. I mean, there's a fine line, and what I personally believe is I believe that the training needs to be more extensive to become a police officer, especially if you're going to be wielding a firearm or
obviously.
Because
there needs to be more of these checks, the mental condition checks.
It's funny that you said that because a couple of years ago there was a post about people that were bullied when they were kids in school, like really hardcore bullied, that are becoming police officers, and they're using that power to then bully others because that's their way of lashing out.
Exactly. That's their stress relief.
Right.
So it's very dangerous. It's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they don't ever shoot anyone, they still some of these cops just have this hard time not beating someone down, or
they're using their badges in the wrong way. They're using their power, if you will, to pretty much intimidate, you know, common folk, and that's not the right way to do it.
Yeah, I saw the thing on Young Turks last year when I was still a semi-regular watcher of their show. There was a black girl, and it was, I want to say it was in Georgia or one of the southern states, where these cops, they come out in response to pool party. Something happening at a pool party, and this girl basically just gets thrown around like a rag doll. The guy gets on her back and forces her to, you know, he just keeps telling her to get on the ground, get on the ground. He forces her to get on the ground and then handcuffs her and then holds his, I want to say he had his knee in her back. It's been a while since I've seen it, but
I did see
he was holding her down really good.
You know,
and just you know, just shouting at her. And it was really a disgusting display. I mean, at least he didn't kill her, but I hate the fact that we are in that world now where that's what we do. That's what we say. Yeah. Well, at least no one died. I hate the fact that we're even in that world.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But what I fear for is the world where, well, at least only 10 died or something like that. Can you imagine that world? That's, oh.
Well, and you're also getting to the point now where, you know, police officers are supposed to be cut and dry, black and white, based on what the laws of the state or whatever are. They're becoming more opinionated because of their own life issues that they've either had to deal with or are dealing with, and they're using that on the job. And that cannot be tolerated. Now, I know some of these police officers that have done this have lost their job, and they're given money for it, which is, I'm sorry, here, a slap on the wrist. You can no longer work for us, but here's, you know, a pension. That doesn't work out in my mind. That's like, if you did that to a kid, all right, that sat there and beat the hell out of someone else in school, and then was like, you can't go back to this school, but here's some money. What are you teaching them? There needs to be legal, you know, compensation or whatever done to these police officers that are using their badges in the wrong way. And, you know, you have the whole good cop, bad cop, because like I said, and I'll probably say this until the day I die, in any group you have good people and you have bad people, or people that act out badly. And those are the ones that ruin it for the rest of that group. I don't care if you're LGBT, if you're, you know, BDSM, or, you know, if you're part of the police. It makes you look bad. And it's getting to the point where when people see that badge on a uniform, they fear it. And that is not supposed to be the way that us common folk should react to a man or woman officer carrying a badge. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, which it's about that time anyway.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I am feeling relaxed. I'm here.
I am still feeling pretty good. I got through the whole thing, and it's awesome. I love it.
Well, viewers, thank you for listening to our segment once again, and we'll be back on tomorrow. I don't want to say a definite time, but it should be around the same time that we've been trying to keep a schedule. Just bear with us. You know, we're under
What's on the schedule for tomorrow? 11 in the morning?
11 in the morning.
We're, you know, trying to not just get our stuff together, but also working on getting better equipment. And, you know, like Broede had said before, you know, we're hoping to be able to soon turn to video. And that'll be fascinating and exciting, you know, all into one. But ultimately, we are new. We're not professional in the least. I don't think we'll ever be professional with our mouths. It's like Doghouse. If you liked our segment, please like, share.
Oh my God, you're killing me here. Yeah, like, hey, you enjoy the content, right? All right, let's hit that like button. You could do it. You could do it. Go on over to that subscribe button too while you're at it, because you know that these shows are only going to get better and better the more I get my weed.
Oh, Broede, what am I going to do with you? Anyway,
probably roll me in the ditch with a pillow at this point.
Face down, preferably.
So the world can kiss my ass?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that about does it. for today, doesn't it? That covers everything.
It sure does.
Subscribe. Check out our Facebook.
If you like
check out our
comment.
Sorry, go ahead.
If you liked any of the stuff, comment. If you didn't like it, comment. We enjoy haters. It gives us something to talk about.
Go ahead and shit on us. It's okay. We can take it.
Absolutely.
We have a Facebook page. It's like Woof Woof Doghouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Woof Woof Doghouse. Go over there to check that out. And we have a Twitter.
Yes,
I need to get an actual splash screen up so we can throw this up toward the end of the show.
I agree.
And the Twitter is in-house. Wait. Doghouse Inmates.
Yes.
Doghouse Inmates is our Twitter. So if you want to throw some love or hate that way, feel free to. Anyway, that should do it. Thanks for listening.
Y'all are awesome.
We love you guys, and we will see you again here tomorrow in the Doghouse.